We're just finishing up our biology unit, and so the students are doing projects on animals. And they were required to talk about the animal's habitat and its adaptations for it to survive and its life cycle. And so different students addressed it different ways based on the tools that we had. This young man had a very complete PowerPoint, and he is very literate, and so he wrote a really good paragraph just about their feeding habits. And he had his own little title about blaming the girls, which really catches your attention. It certainly caught the girls' attention in the classroom. And that's just 1/5 of his project. He had a different slide for each of the things I expected for the animal project. And other students are continuing to work. And then this young lady is not big on words, but as long as you give her the ability in PowerPoint, for example, to play with the graphics, she will still present the information, but she's presenting it in her own way. She didn't choose to write it as a little narrative story like Henry did. Instead, she's got just little bulleted statements supported by graphics. And finally, this young gentleman here used software called Comic Life that we were fortunate to be able to get licenses for. And with Comic Life, Justin's able to scaffold what he needs to write with photographs and graphics. And he's using words that he would never even think about using, because he's talking about the feeding habits. And he says that the bearded dragon is an herbivore. And that is something that I would not have gotten out of him if I had asked him to do a 3-paragraph essay. He'd have sat there, and he'd have spun around in the chair, and he'd have tapped his pencil, and he'd have balled up several pieces of paper before I got anything out of him. But as it is, with Comic Life, he's dragging and dropping the photos in there, and then he's only going to write his little thought bubbles and his little speech bubbles. And so with that, the graphics scaffold his ability to use the language.